Hey guys, before we start the show, I want to tell you I'm running a little contest. Go to johnsarcade.com to enter a raffle. That's right, guys. I'm giving away 3 John's Arcade prize packages. Each package will contain a John's Arcade t-shirt, a signed Kill Screens CD, and some John's Arcade branded parts kits. That's right, from IanKellogg.com. We've got 20 EZs, 4900s, G07s. Each of these kits contain the highest quality components. And so if you guys want to win this stuff, go to johnsarcade.com and enter the raffle. You have until about February 15th. And then also during this time, if you go to IanKellogg.com, you can take 10% off of your entire order using coupon code John's Arcade. That's right, go to IanKellogg.com to order your John's Arcade branded kits and also other rebuild kits. He's got everything on his site and really great customer service. 10% off until about February 15th using coupon code John's Arcade. All right, guys, let's get on with the show. Hey guys, we are in the basement, and today, guys, here on John's Arcade, we are gonna do a tech video, guys. That is right, actually, we're gonna do an unboxing. Yeah, we're gonna unbox something pretty cool, and we're gonna try it out, but we're not gonna do it alone because my buddy Adam is here. Adam is here in the basement at the table. Yes, of course, Adam has a website called onecircuit.com and also a YouTube channel of the same name. Adam, of course, is an engineer. You're a very technical guy, Adam, aren't you?
Yes.
So his channel and content is a lot more technical than mine, so be sure to check it out at youtube.com/onecircuit. Is that right? Okay. So, Adam.
Yes.
I invited you here.
What brings me here today?
We're going to open this up.
Okay.
What do you think about this?
What is it?
So my friend Dan Reed.
Yes.
Who's in Minnesota. Great guy, okay? He picked up a Journey.
Okay.
And was in the same boat that I was in. Okay. He has an empty cabinet, right? And nothing. No PCB, no audio interface board, no power supply, no anything, right? So he went out there and started looking for all the parts. He ended up finding a PCB. Okay. But what he couldn't find is the cassette interface board. Okay, because Journey has a cassette player inside of it, right, and it plays an actual analog cassette of Journey's song, Separate Ways, World Apart. Okay, and it's all controlled by this cassette interface board. Mm-hmm. So when I was restoring my Journey, because I started with nothing, just like Dan, I couldn't find that board. It's like mythical. Okay, it just doesn't exist, right? Yeah, it's completely rare, and the people that do have them, they want like stupid money for them.
Now it wasn't an option, right? I mean, when Journey was delivered by the operator, it came with that board. Every Journey had that board.
Every Journey had that board. But the Journey is so rare to start with, you know, and a lot of them got parted out because it wasn't a successful game, right? So anyway, let's go back a year or two when I was building mine. I was trying to find the cassette interface board and I couldn't find it. And so I started looking into like modern solutions for this, right? Some guys figured out how to hook up Raspberry Pis. Right. I never got one. I never got a modern one because luckily I found an original, which is like crazy lucky, right? But a guy in Clove had one, he sold it to me. Anyway, regardless, Dan Reed was in the same boat. He couldn't find the cassette interface board, so he decided to do something about it. And he designed and manufactured a modern reproduction for the Journey cassette interface board. And Dan sent me one for us to try out and review. Cool. And so I thought I'd have you here and we can look at it together. I've yet to look at this. It's in a box unopened here. And what do you think of this idea, by the way?
Well, I mean, you don't need it, right?
I don't need it. No, we're going to test it, yeah.
To go through the
whole thing. It's a backup. Yeah.
But plus to kind of explain the installation process and all that kind of stuff. So
exactly. But I mean, what do you think about, like, you know? Okay, so this is kind of a mythical board. So obviously it was redesigned. I don't know if it's the same circuit. We'll find out.
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of like what people are doing these days.
I love that concept because that's, you know, along the lines of what I'm doing and other people doing J-Rock, etc. stuff. So I mean, I love the idea of taking something that is, you know, very rare or very sought out, and then just kind of coming up with a modern
and modernizing, right?
Exactly.
Because the stuff back in the day had a gazillion components, and now you can just put one FPGA or whatever, you know. So all right, let's open this up. And by the way, Adam is doing a modern replacement board.
Yes, for pole position. Right?
And every time I have Adam
Very
on
well
here,
known, I think at this point.
yes, I think so. I think people are really waiting for that.
Yeah.
He's making a modern replacement for a pole position board, which is FPGA based, that will play pole position 1, 2, Namco, and also Atari versions. So you'll have 4 different pole positions on one modern drop-in board.
Yep.
And I know the last time you were on here, you told people that you'd have prototypes by end of 2015.
Did I really?
Yeah, you did.
No. Oh.
Yes, you did.
Well,
did that happen?
I don't think that'll be the first date that I committed to that slipped by with respect to this project. So no, I don't have prototypes. So we're in the phase. We're in that prototype phase.
Yeah.
And so the first step is done, which is getting the schematics all drafted up for the prototype. And then once that's done, you move into layout, designing the PCB using software. And then once layout's done, you go ahead and get it manufactured. So we are in the layout phase now.
You are?
Yeah.
And do you want to tell people what you told me?
No.
Okay. Fair enough.
But I will at some point. So, yeah. So John's alluding to a little behind the scenes something going on.
Yes.
But
that's
we'll
fine. That's
get
fine.
there.
Okay, okay. All right.
Be the first to know.
Yes, okay. So we've opened this up, okay, and the first thing that's on top here is this.
Okay.
So let's take a look here, Adam. So it says Journey. So this is the PCB, I guess, and this is to remove micro card SD slide. Okay, there's a micro SD in here. Notice that there's a power surge at startup. The MP3 board may start the song when it should be muted, and vice versa. Caution: do not touch the green paint. Dan, the paint should have been brown, by the way. I want you to revise this. The paint needs to be brown. And then left and right for the speakers. That's interesting.
Okay. How does the speaker hook up right now?
We'd have to look. Okay, so, and then also he includes the schematic, it looks like. Here's the schematic for it.
Oh, wow.
So he includes the schematic and then this little cheat sheet. Okay, so let's...
That's pretty bold. I don't know if I would do that, Dan.
What, include the schematic?
Yeah.
All right, so he included some mounting feet right here.
Okay.
All right. And here it is. Are you ready?
Sweet, yeah.
Okay. So Dan told me that, so this is the actual board, okay? But this board is way smaller than the original, so the mounting area it's not gonna fit.
Right.
So he added some plexi to make it sexier and also...
Oh, look at that.
Look at that.
Oh, man.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Now, is that just for you? Or
No.
Everybody gets
Everyone's getting this. Yeah. And you could backlight it.
Oh, wow.
Right? So if you were to... Here, Adam, hold it over that light up there, so you can see how it kind of. Yeah, you can see the Journey logo through it.
Wow.
Let me see if we can get the right angle. Tilt it towards the camera a little bit.
How's that? Better?
Kinda.
What if I did something like this?
Yeah, there you go. So it's got the laser etched Journey band logo with the head for, what was the album, Frontiers?
Oh, I was never a Journey fan.
You weren't?
No.
So okay, so this is pretty sexy.
Yeah, that is
right.
Cool.
And by the way, guys, this thing is $400, isn't it? Is it 3
I
or
have no
4?
idea.
Is that Dan Reed? I don't know. Let me check. All right, Adam, I just checked. And by the way, the website is paradisearcade.com, and it's $299.
Okay.
It's $300. Okay. Which is not cheap.
Yeah.
At all, you know. But I'll tell you this: when I was looking for the original cassette interface board, guys were looking for $300, $400, $500 for them.
That's crazy.
You know, so it's definitely a niche item, and you know, and it's a high end item. You know, because Journey is a really rare game, and so.
But it's modern, it's probably more reliable.
Yes. But there's not much here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so let's kind of talk about what this is, you know. And so this red part right here, Adam, is that an MP3 player, I'm guessing?
Yeah, this actually might be an off-the-shelf. You might be able to find this, you know, other places, but it looks to me like it's just an MP3 decoder.
Okay.
The MP3s are on the SD card, and it just, you know, will play whatever's on the SD card.
Right, so this is the MP3 player, I take it, and there's a micro SD card here. Oh, so that's what... This is probably... Oh, I see. This is probably the instructions for the MP3 player board.
Right.
Okay? If we were to use it as a standalone unit, I'm guessing.
Right.
Right?
I mean, but
is that your take on it?
I don't know if you can use this without this, right? So if we move on to this part here,
yes,
this to me looks like, you know,
an amp.
It's partially an amp, but it also has to take controls from the CPU. What is it? The Supersound I/O.
Yes.
And then send those cues to play, you know, segments of the MP3. So you got controls going on as well as amplification going on over here. And so what was this talking about?
Well, I'm guessing that this document right here, see MP3 soundboard A084, this is probably the document that came with that board off the shelf.
Well, it says Journey.
Well, I think Dan probably put that up. That's my hunch.
Yeah. Okay.
Why would he name it A0084914? Right? Okay, so this is Dan's custom board right here, and it says ParadiseArcadeShop.com. Again, that's where you pick this up, ParadiseArcadeShop.com. And these headers, I take it, are the exact same as the original cassette interface board.
I think that was his goal.
So the idea here is that, actually, let's review. So in the arcade game Journey, when you get to the end, there's a level with bouncers, right? And when you get to the end of that part with the bouncer, where you're protecting the stage, the members, the game is playing a song, and it's playing separate ways, world apart, from a cassette player, an analog cassette player. And all that's happening is the cassette interface board is sending 12 volts to the player. That's all that happens, right? So it turns the player on because the play button's already pushed.
Okay,
right. And so it just starts playing this endless loop tape. Which is a 2-minute cut down version of Separate Ways. It's not the full studio version. And I believe that Dan put on here for me the studio version. Which I'm probably gonna undo if I keep this, because I kind of want the 2-minute version. And Dan told me that you could put as many MP3s on here as you want. It'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then if you put 5 on there, then back to 1. It'll just endlessly loop whatever's in that folder. So if it's one song, it just endlessly loops that one track. If it's 2, 3 tracks, it endlessly loops those 3 tracks. So if I wanted to put the entire best of Journey on here, I could.
That'd be cool.
Which is kind of cool, right?
For parties.
So listen, my first impression here is it's cool. Obviously it is, right? Obviously this is all fluff, right? Because
it's a shame that people can't see that. You know what I mean? Because once you put it in the cabinet and the back door on, that's it. But
so, and if you look on the back here, things are all labeled for the headers. And you have to kind of look through it here, but you could see that it's you have to look through it through light. Actually, hold this up and let's put this behind it. Let's really light this up here. Okay. Yeah, that actually looks really cool. So you can see you've got so right speaker plus, right speaker minus, left. So these are the outputs right here for the speakers. So if we were to use this only as an MP3 player, that's when you mess around with the positive and negative. Dan, honestly, I suggest you don't include this. I think this just confuses things. Don't you agree?
Yeah, it implies that you want to do something to this board, and I don't know if that necessarily is the case. It might just be plug and play. I mean,
I think that.
I mean, I don't know. This is what individual volume control, but is that also on the board set itself?
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? These are little pots.
Oh, those are not. Oh, I misunderstood this.
Screw terminals.
I thought those were screw terminals for speakers.
Right. Yeah, no, they're just little pots.
All right, Dan, I'm sorry. Include this. I totally misunderstood that. I looked at it and I thought it was left and right screw terminals. Okay, so you have individual volume for left and right because this is stereo, by the way.
Yes.
Okay, so I get it now. Okay, so
if you slide this over, you can see the left volume, right volume right there.
Okay. Yeah. Dan, I'm sorry. And then right here, this is kind of cool.
Oh yeah, that's killer with a light behind.
Doesn't that look cool? Journey, and then right here, dual power amp with cassette interface, MP3 update, stereo. Oh, so it is the A084914.
Ridiculously long part number on the board.
All right, so here's what I think. I think that this part number is the Bally Midway part number.
Oh, cool. Yeah, maybe it is.
I think that's what it is. That's what it is. That's what it is.
We'll have to research that.
Guys, we didn't know we were getting into. Honestly, there was no prep, okay? I didn't talk to Dan in great deal about this. So yes, that's what the A0984, that's the model number.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay. I got it.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's so-and-so -1, and this is the version 2 of the board.
Well, we'll find out when we pull mine out. Okay, so let's go to the machine, and we got to try it out. Let's see what happens here. Now, what do you think? So now I have both. I have the original, I have a modern. Do I keep the? Do I try?
I know. Part of me thinks. I mean, this to me, I almost want to back like this and stick it on my wall.
Yeah, I know.
So I don't know. I might, if it were me and the one was in there like yours isn't working.
Yeah.
I may actually put this on top or something like that and have it backlit. It just looks sexy,
Right. But it's not art. It's it's kind of artsy, but okay. And also, Adam, since we're pulling this out,
right?
I thought we'd do a little housekeeping on it.
Okay, TLC or something.
Yeah, because in like the last video I mentioned that we got to adjust the monitors because the top is cut off.
Yep.
And there's like a sweet spot. I got to get it in with and we'll do that real quick. And we might actually fix one of the leg levers that fell off.
Okay.
But anyway, all right. So let's pull it out. And also, I want to. If you guys listen,
Playing right now.
you hear that? So during a track, it started playing the music from the game, not the cassette player, the game music.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to do that. And CD Jump told me to reseat the sound CPU to see if that would go away. So maybe we'll do that too.
Sure.
All right. So let's pull the game out and then we'll come right back. All right. Let's pull it out, Adam.
Cool.
All right, Adam. We got the game turned around, and here's my journey number 940, by the way. 940.
Did you write that in there?
No, I didn't. And you can see the DBoss serial number right there.
That's cool.
I mean, they only made like what 1,000 of these games.
You know more than
I mean, the market for this interface has got to be pretty small. Wouldn't you agree?
Probably.
I mean, how many of these are left? Okay, so here's let's talk about the original setup and what Dan's board's going to emulate. Okay, so here's the original cassette. Actually, originally it didn't have this exact model cassette player, but it had a 12-volt cassette player.
Okay.
It had like some Panasonic or something. I don't remember, but I actually had the original model number. It doesn't matter, right?
Sure.
It's just a 12-volt cassette player.
Right.
That's all it is. So the interface board is over here on this side. Okay. And what happens is during that game mode, this thing sends 12 volts to that. This thing also fades the volume in and then fades it out when it turns the 12 volts off. So it's not an abrupt.
I was wondering why there's all these components.
Yes.
All you're doing is turning on the 12 volts. You know?
But there's a fade in and there's a fade out. So there's some kind of a circuit that's in there that fades it in and fades it out. I'm curious to see if Dan's board fades in and fades out, because that is kind of like a feature, you know? And so here's. So I made a reproduction, and by the way, you can see the play button is always in.
Right.
And so you got power coming in, and then you have a line out, right? And then, so it's an endless cassette, okay? It's a 2-minute cassette. And so I made my own. I bought the cassette on eBay, and then I found the file, the 2-minute version of the song that was on the cassette, and I recorded it. I was going to say burned. I recorded it to this by plugging this into my computer.
Right.
And so in general, this has been a pretty reliable setup.
Sure.
I've had no issues with it. I think getting a little slightly newer player helped, because the one that they used originally was kind of garbagey.
Okay.
Yeah. But actually, while we're in here, we should look at the model number on this board to see if. All right. So it's A08491496. B358. Is that what he called his?
Bring it over here.
So let's see if these numbers make sense now. Yeah. Here.
All right.
So on the piece of paper. All right, Dan. It all makes sense.
Let's see. A04. Yeah, it checks out. Yeah, -2. So that's exactly what he did.
Okay, so he added a -2 to his.
Smart.
Right. And so you can see that he sized the plexi to match the size of the original board, so we can use the same mounting holes.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So this really should be plug and play, right?
Yeah.
And we have on his, we have 1, 2, 3 connectors. On the original, I have 1, 2, 3 connectors. And are these keyed? They're all keyed. Yeah. All right. So I guess we'll just pull off my original. Actually, Dan did tell me one thing. He said, be sure to unplug the player. Because we don't want it to turn on or anything. We don't want voltage over here.
Okay.
So we don't need it anymore. So we're going to unplug my original player. So let's go ahead and just remove all these plugs. I just want to make sure we have all the keys and everything so we can't screw this up. And we do. So it's just these 4 screws. Kind of saddens me.
Well, it's just temporary.
Right.
We're doing a product demo. You can put it back.
Yeah, and I've got my ground wire here that goes down here too. Because, you know, it's an accomplishment to have the original stuff, you know.
Is this the only copy of the, I mean, the only, is this the only one you have?
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you had a couple that you were...
No. This was the only one. I got really lucky. There's a guy in Claude that had an extra. Nice. He said he wasn't sure if it worked. If it didn't work, he was going to give me a deal on it. It didn't work, so I got a deal on it. and I ended up fixing it because I had the help of the designer. Remember that Kerry guy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I ended up sending him an email telling him what was wrong with it, and he told me where to focus my attention, and we got it working. So it was a big accomplishment for me to get. I mean, I went to war with this game. I gotta have the original. Yeah. But you know what? I'm gonna give Dan's thing a shot for a couple weeks or more, and I don't know. Maybe I'll give it away. What do you think? Huh? What?
How many Journey collectors are that you know of? How many other people that you know of have a Journey?
A couple, like Richie Knuckles and who else?
Local guys, Jedi Dentist, I think.
Jedi Dentist had one. The only one I've seen in person besides mine, well, actually was at Grinkers.
Okay.
Steve at Grinkers has one. Does Fun Spot have one? I don't think too. Here, you wanna? Yeah. You're maybe in a better angle than I am.
I don't know.
Maybe not, huh?
Okay, I'll hold it up like this.
All right. So we're not using any standoffs. Does it matter? I don't think it matters. But
it does come with standoffs.
It does. But I want to use the original holes because the standoffs would require new holes.
Oh, they do.
Well, it's not. The standoffs are going to be flanging out.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the standoff allow you to use the original holes, and these are not lined up. You know? These aren't lined. No, you're going to need standoff.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I'm actually looking at the holes right now.
I started cracking the acrylic.
That's what the standoffs are for.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and put the standoffs in here that Dan included, and then we'll be right back. All right, we threw the standoffs on, and let's try now mounting it. Let's just get the top two. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this forever in here or what.
Right.
All right, there's one. Can you get the other one?
Yeah, I think so.
Does it line up?
Yeah, because of the standoffs does.
Yep. Here.
Once you hold, why do you want to do that?
Can you?
Yep, hold that.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, that's going to be tricky to get to. Yeah, I don't know.
Go ahead.
Well, hold on, I want to put a new hole in your cap. Or use the one you got. There you go.
Got it?
Yep.
All right. I think that's good enough for now. For testing, that's fine.
Sure.
So as you can see, guys, you know, it mounts in exactly in the same spot as the original, using the original mounting holes. And yeah, I mean, it looks like some electronic stuff's going on. So I guess you could backlight it, put some LED strips in here. Cool. I mean, you'd never see it.
I know, I was just gonna say.
Who would ever see it, right? Okay, so, all right away, this doesn't reach.
Well, it's got to go over here, right?
Yeah,
you're right.
It doesn't reach.
All right, so you have to pull these off.
Now, mind you, though, I rewired this because I was missing these wires.
Okay.
But I have them reaching exactly on the original, because the header on the original is right here, not in the back here. So we should not penalize Dan's because I had to create this harness.
Okay.
So I made it the exact length I needed. All right, so this plugs in right there. Oh shit, this doesn't reach either.
Well, we'll have to pull it out of here.
Oh man. Dude, I got this so neat.
You can put it back.
Not happy. All right, here we go. Yeah, we're definitely putting my original back in here. Okay, so Adam and I were talking about this volume scheme that's on here.
Yes.
So the reason it has it is because the original had its own volume. So the game actually has two volumes for the cassette audio.
Right.
The cassette player has its own audio, and then there's also a pot and the coin door for the audio.
Right.
So we get the same end result here.
Yeah.
We get, but the only difference is that we get left and right volume.
Right, individual control.
And then I'm guessing that the pot and the coin door is just going to be both at the same time.
The pot in the front is probably overall, right? So it handles the overall audio for not only the cassette, but all the in-game sounds, the whole 9 yards, right?
Right.
So that's like your global, that's your main audio pot.
Right.
And then...
No, there's two pots though.
Oh, really?
There's one pot in the coin door. One is for game sounds that the PCB, the CPU generates, and another pot is for this.
Oh, no kidding.
The cassette player actually has two volumes, one on the player and one in the door.
Okay.
Now, same end result here. We have volume on the player and one in the door.
Okay.
The only difference is the one on the player this time is stereo,
control,
left
yeah.
and right.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that's going to work. We can control left and right here, but then we have an overall volume in the coin door. Is that controlling the whole stereo?
I think so. Yeah.
All right.
I think it would be.
All right. So anyway, everything's in and we're ready to test it. So let's get to the camera to the front and we'll plug it in and we'll see what. This doesn't light up or anything, does it?
No.
You didn't see any LEDs, did you?
I mean, unless they're on the back of this, but I doubt it. Because what would be the purpose? You know what I mean? Nobody can see it.
I know.
It'd be sweet. But...
All right, let's get the camera in the front and plug it in. All right, so I just plugged the game in, and you can see that the PCB actually has some lights on it. So on the MP3 part of it right here.
Yeah.
So there's a couple LEDs right there. And that's all that's lit. And by the way, I have the arcade shop. That's what's lighting down there.
Gotcha.
The power supply adapter.
Okay.
So Adam, I'm gonna just take the camera off the tripod and come over here.
Yeah.
Let's put the game in test. Cause I want to see how it behaves in test. Or I suppose we could wait because it'll eventually play the song in a tract. But no, let's get it into test mode and. I just want to control the audio and see how it actually behaves in tests because that's how the original would work. So if we put it in test, we actually have to wait for it to cycle through all of the attract and then it goes into test mode, or we can just turn it off. It's in test?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so we're in test now. So if we go to cassette test, which is 9. And this is where we can kind of dial it in and everything, you know? Okay, it says cassette is now off. It says joystick up to turn it on.
I don't hear nothing.
You don't hear nothing? Nope. Cassette is now on.
There's an indication over here that it's getting a signal or nothing? The LED statuses haven't changed. We need to turn up the volume here?
I suppose we could try that.
You have a small enough screwdriver?
And also the question is there an MP3 on that?
That's a good question. Check that first.
It's my understanding that there is an MP3 on it, but maybe there isn't an MP3 on it. Here, let's see if we can turn the volume up. All right, so Adam's trying to adjust the volume pot. Right now, we have the cassette on. So we should be getting audio.
So I'm just going to max these out. Right now they're maxed out.
And we got nothing.
I don't hear anything.
All right. It says cassette is now on. Cassette's off. Cassette's on. And the volume is cranked for the cassette player. That's right. I'm wondering if there's an MP3 on there. All right, we're gonna pull the SD card out. So let's turn the game off. And let's pop the SD card out and we'll bring it to my computer and see if there's anything on it.
I figure out how to pull this out.
Is it a click?
I think it's...
Oh shit, okay. Alright, I hope I have an adapter for that. Alright, I'm pretty sure I do. Hang on, let's go check.
Alright.
Alright, so I put the micro SD in an adapter and then put this in my iMac. And he does have an MP3 on here. There's, the file is called 10,001.mp3 and I played it and it is separate ways world apart. So he did indeed put the file in here already.
Okay.
So, now what?
There's not much really that you can adjust on this thing. This guy is kind of tricky to put in. Here we go.
I suppose we could just try it again.
Try it again. Ready?
Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to go up front and I'm going to put it into test real quick. Actually, it's in test already. So it should just boot right up to the test menu. Is it on? Okay.
Yeah, the LEDs are on.
Alright, I'm going to put it in test. Tell me I'm going to go to cassette test.
Yep.
Cassette's off. Cassette's on.
Okay.
Alright. I wonder if the SD card got...
I don't know. It could be.
Alright. I want to turn that down before we get flagged for copyright.
Right.
Because you know what I think?
Yeah, no kidding.
I think that whenever I play it from the cassette, it's never gotten flagged because the speed is probably not 1,000%, and YouTube doesn't pick it up. Yeah. I bet you this MP3 is a little more exact.
You think so?
Oh, I do. Don't you?
Yeah. So do you want me to just set these to like the middle?
Yeah.
Dead center?
Okay, well, it clearly works.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if this somehow wasn't in all the way, and we just reset it and now it works. So you're in you have it like in the middle?
Exactly. So both channels are right in the middle.
Okay. So let me go back into test here and let's try it again.
All right.
Oh, it's off.
I just turned it on.
Okay. So I'm just in the test menu, guys, and I'm just picking cassette on. You know, that's all I'm doing. All right, so cassette, I'm gonna press up to turn it on. Ready? All right, so we can't hear it. Let me turn the master up. All right, so you have it right in the middle?
Yeah.
Okay, so... Oh, by the way, it does have that fade.
Oh, right.
Right, so here, up, listen.
Nice.
So it doesn't play like immediately. There's actually, I think the fade is a little longer than the original.
Okay.
That, I would say. Because the original, as soon as it turns on, it plays within a half second.
Yeah.
This one, there's definitely, listen,
A little bit longer.
1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. So I would say that the fade is too long.
Okay.
Compared to the
I
original.
wonder if it's adjustable.
I wonder if it is, yeah. So, all right, let me play it. I want to see how much... You know what I would do, Adam? I would turn it up just a little bit on each. Because I don't have tons of headroom. And they're both in the same spot?
Yeah.
Okay. Trying to play as little of it as possible. Okay, so sound-wise...
Sounds the same?
It does sound almost... I can't tell a difference.
Yeah.
Can you?
Well, I'm staying.
I mean, it sounds like Journey, a song that was recorded in the 80s through some speakers in an arcade game from the 80s. It doesn't sound...
That's the goal, right? That's the end game.
So, yeah, it sounds fine. It sounds like the song.
Right.
Yeah, I think it sounds great. I don't think it sounds any different than the cassette. I'm not hearing any like major quality leaps, but I wasn't looking for that.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So, all right, well, let's leave it in here. We're going to roll with it. I mean, obviously it works. It was easy to install. It didn't work initially, I think, because that was loose.
Yep.
I bet you in shipping that might have got a little jarred or something. So, yeah, Dan Reed, good job, man.
Yeah.
It's plug and play, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see... I'd like to see this hooked up. Yeah, my harness is all messed up because this is not an original harness.
Okay.
It's a Tron harness that I modified to work.
Right.
So my lengths are not probably right.
And some of this, like you said, you had to kind of do yourself.
This is homemade.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you just made it as long as it needs to be.
I made it as long as it needed to be to reach the connectors on the original.
Sure.
So yeah, I think that's a success.
Yeah.
I think, Dan, you did a good job, man. It definitely works. You know, when I was putting this together like last year or whatever, I would have totally bought that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have even looked for the original. You know, so it's awesome. All right.
Are you the only person who owns one of these? That
I think so.
Okay.
I think I'm the only one that has one right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Dan wanted me to test it out, so here we are.
People can go online and buy them right now.
Oh yeah, of course. You can go to ParadiseArcadeShop.com, and it's $300.
Now, are there any other Midway games that have this similar set?
Yes. Well, there's two Tigers.
Okay.
Which is another MCR game. Okay. Two Tigers. I believe there's two versions. One's an 8-track, the other's a cassette.
Really? Okay.
Same idea, though.
Same board, you think?
I think it's the same board.
Okay.
I think it's, if not the same board, a variant of.
Yeah.
If anything, Two Tigers might have had the version 1 of what this is.
Yeah.
And then this became version 2.
Right.
Because I think Two Tigers came before Journey.
Okay.
So if I were Dan, I would look into the Two Tigers board, which is also MCR, and see if this is somehow marketable or retrofittable towards it.
Yeah.
Because it could be the same damn thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you want as many consumers as possible.
Right.
How many people own a Journey and
Two Tigers?
Two Tigers. So.
And Two Tigers is another collector game that's really rare, and it has the audio, like war sounds and stuff going on. And of course, it never works,
right?
Because the players fail, the tapes fail.
Right.
So yeah, awesome thing. Dan, good job. ParadiseArcadeShop.com, $300 if you guys got a Journey, a nice modern replacement, and you can load up that SD card with all kinds of songs.
Yeah, if you're having a party or something, put the whole Journey soundtrack.
Right. So, all right, so here's what I want to do. I want to adjust the monitor a little bit.
Okay.
Also, I do want to see, are the track sounds playing now? Was it actually my interface that was doing that, or the PCB?
You mean, you think this had something to do with it?
I don't know. Could it be
I don't know how
that it's
would
bleeding?
Work, I don't think so.
All right, I'm going to go to the front and just listen and see if we still hear it. All right, really quick here. Before we button this up, I want to reseat the sound CPUs because during the track mode, it's playing the computer sounds.
Yeah.
And CD Jump on Clav, who is an MCR guru, and also the guy I got this PCB from, he told me to reseat the sound CPU at J6.
Okay.
And then you were suggesting maybe we also reseat the Z80 that's on the Super Sound I/O board, which is this board right here.
Yeah.
So we're just going to kind of come in here and reseat these while the board is in place, and just do this kind of very carefully.
And I always use the screwdriver, by the way, very carefully. Use a knife or something, but I'm not one of those kind of guys.
Some people use chip pullers.
I hate chip pullers.
Yeah.
So I just gently rock them back and forth to get them out, and then just sit them back in place, and that's it. It should be effortless if you do it that way.
So that one's J6.
This one's J6.
So I think we should test it after this before we go further at them.
Okay.
Don't you think?
It's fine.
I know it's kind of awkward.
If it solves the problem, then why keep going?
Yeah, right. And it is kind of awkward to reseat chips like this. I know because I've done it, like in vertically like that.
Right. Oops. Yeah, I'm actually off by one pin. Hold on.
All right, so we're gonna put that in, then we'll test it out. All right, Adam. So listen, guys. Here's what's going on. Okay. So we want to do a gameplay review with this, but we don't want to use the Journey song because obviously we don't have the rights to it.
Yeah.
So we were going to copy one of my songs, one of my Killscreen songs onto here, and we did.
Yeah.
So first I deleted the song that Dan had on there.
Yep.
Okay. And then I copied my song.
Right.
Right. Then we come down here to test it, and it's still playing the Journey song.
Yeah, that was weird.
Which is weird because I deleted it off the SD card. Right. So I go back to my computer. And the Journey song's not on there, right? So I'm like, okay, well, I never emptied the trash, so maybe it's still in the trash directory. It's a Mac, you know, they do, I think it does, like, make the file actually invisible, but it's still there until you empty the trash, so maybe it was still playing it. So I emptied the trash, and then we came down here, and now it's not playing my song.
Which is still on here.
Which is still on here, and so it's not working now.
Yeah.
It's not working at all.
Anything.
And so we're thinking that it's because of the file name.
Yeah.
Because Dan had the song called 1001.
Yeah.
.mp3.
Yeah.
So maybe it plays 1001, 1002, 1000. Maybe you have to have a naming system that this thing.
So you think about just renaming your song that's up here to be 1001 and give it a shot?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go upstairs and I'm gonna rename this to 1001.mp3. But right now, it's not working anymore. So I'll be back. Okay, so I just came back downstairs. I renamed the MP3 1001.mp3. So now if I come in the front here and I turn the cassette player on,
There it goes.
it works. So it's playing White Girls Escalade, Get Paid, Get Laid.
Totally suits this game, I guess.
Yeah, girls. So, all right, so that's it. So I'm guessing that if you want to put like 10 songs on there, 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004.
And Dan can confirm, you know.
Yeah, so obviously we're the first ones to get this, and I don't think he's created a manual yet. So Dan, you better clarify.
Something like that in there.
It's actually kind of fun. He didn't tell me anything because we're like trying to figure it all out.
Yeah.
All right, so let's play the game.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing that interests me the most, Adam. Okay, so with the cassette, every time the cassette turns on, it leaves off. It starts playing where it left off.
Right.
Okay, and it doesn't restart the song every time.
Right.
So I'm
It's an endless loop. So
it's an
wherever
endless
it stops
loop.
is where it continues. Yeah.
For some reason, I like that.
Yeah.
I don't know why, right? It's just part of the game.
Yeah.
It's part of the game's history, you know. It never started at the beginning of the song. It started where it left over.
Right.
So if it's the third verse or the second chorus, whatever, that's where it starts.
Right.
And so I want to see if we're gonna play.
Well, one thing that's interesting is that when you put this in self-test and you play around with the joystick and you turn the cassette on and off, it always starts where it left off.
It does?
Right?
Well, let's.
No, I'm saying when you had the original cassette.
Yeah. So right now it should be right.
But right now I think.
So I just turned it on.
Yeah, I see now. I think it starts. Okay, so it is doing it.
It is.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not starting the song over.
Okay.
That's why the light's still on.
Right. Yes. Okay.
It's pausing it.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now, it left off with that piano.
Yeah.
It's about to go into the chorus.
Yeah.
So let's see. I'm gonna turn it back on. Yep.
Yeah, it's still there. That's what you want.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah.
All right, that's good. All right, let's play a game and just kind of experience this thing in action. And
Sure.
So I'm gonna put the camera on the other side, and Adam and I are gonna play a 2-player game of. Are you good at Journey?
I think I played it once. In your garage.
Yeah. Okay, so we got the game on here. So Adam and I are going to play a 2-player game. We're going to experience Dan's modern replacement. Really, the only thing I'm noticing with this is the slow ramp up.
Yeah.
It's noticeably slower, the fade in, than the original.
Right.
But let's go. So, are you a Journey fan?
Like I said, man, I never really listened to them growing up.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I'm very familiar with their songs, but I wasn't a Journey fanboy. I didn't go out and buy their albums.
No.
Yeah.
And you've only played this game like once in your life?
I played it in your garage, I think. Yeah.
Really?
You finally had it all set to go. I think it was the day did I help you bring this down? I don't remember.
I'm sure you did. No? Who helped me then? You sure you
It
didn't?
may have been me.
It's got to be you.
Games have been me right
You're part of the official christening of this thing. I mean, if you're not here, we're not done. So we're Steve Smith, the drummer, and for whatever reason, there's these pills coming at me. I don't know what they are. Oh yeah, you just crossed the line. So the thing about this game is, though, we won't really know if it works till we get to the
end.
You have to get through 5 levels to hear the cassette player. And by the way, Adam and I did spend a little bit of time adjusting the monitor, and I think it's a lot better than it was. Because before the score was getting cut off on the top, and now you could totally see the score and a little bit above it, which is what you want. Oh my God! All right, Adam, let's see what you can do.
All right, I'll start down here.
All right, that's Steve Perry.
Now, what do I do here? I just gotta get through the gates, right?
Yeah, get the microphone and then get out. You know, it's gonna be funny if we don't get to the end and we can't hear the board. All right, we have to make it to the end.
We can do it.
All right, so what would be Neil showing here with his jetpack? So I'm not gonna bother point pressing. I usually do try to point press those Beatles right there.
Okay.
It's not really the purpose of this video.
Not a high score video.
So, if you had an original Journey with an original cassette player, you could have more songs on it.
Right.
You just need a longer endless loop tape. Or you could put in a 2-hour tape and just switch it, rewind it every so often, right?
Good luck getting access to the cassette player, though.
Or how about if you had an auto-reversing cassette player?
Oh, okay.
Right?
They make those?
Yeah, don't they?
I don't know.
That plays the other side? They must. Right?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, there was car ones that did that.
Yeah.
You could put a 12-volt car player in there.
I can't believe that they had, what did you say it was, Tiger something? They had an 8-track?
Yeah, 2 Tigers, yeah.
Tigers.
Yeah, 2 Tiger. I think that there was a bunch of EM games that had 8 tracks too that played stuff.
I'll do this one right
Adam, do you like this game? Tell me.
I like the different levels.
I do too.
Each unique.
It's totally cool.
Yeah.
And it's Journey, for God's sakes. One of the most iconic rock bands of all time.
Well, this song in particular, this is what was being played during that main video that everybody's very familiar with.
Right. Well, this song, Don't Stop Believing, is the most downloaded digital song of all time. I believe that's the stat. It was in Glee too, wasn't it? Are you a Glee guy? My kids watched that, my wife. I'm pretty sure that those kids were singing Don't Stop Believing.
Really?
Yeah.
This is it. So if you beat this level, then
if we beat this level, then we'll get to hear White Girls Escalade. Which is the object of Journey.
Right.
Get to the end so you can hear White Girls Escalade. Alright, I can't die. This level is actually not that hard. So this is like the MIDI version of Don't Stop Believing. Oh my God! Alright, I have one life left. Oh, for God's sakes. The thing is, every time I play this game, every time I play this game, I can get to the end, except when it really matters now.
Right. That's it. Yay. Alright, let's go back to this one here.
Alright, this is it. I have to do it.
You can do it. Come on. Take your time.
I am taking. The thing is, when I take my time and overthink it is when I actually die. If I blast through it without a care in the world is when I don't die. All right, here we go. All right. So now it should play the song. 1, 2, 3. Right. Yeah. See, the fade is too long. Dan, can you adjust that? I mean, it's you can live with it if you never knew the difference. But like on mine, the Journey song is playing before it even gets to the screen. It starts playing when it pauses, which I think is the intention. Yeah. Is it getting louder? All right. What do you think?
Did you deliberately drag that file to the MP3?
Yeah. Well, I went to the Killscreen SoundCloud page.
Yeah.
I'm like, what song should I get? I'm like, oh yeah, definitely getting that one. All right, well it works.
Yeah, it's successful.
And we kind of proved in the test menu that it starts. It basically pauses itself.
Which is what you want.
Right. But the thing is, every time you turn the unit on, it starts at the beginning. Right. Which is not like the cassette.
Yeah.
So
I think you could live with something like that.
you could, yeah. But if you're going to play the game over and over again in one setting, it's going to resume within that session, within that power session.
Yeah.
But if you turn the game off, next time you play it, it starts from the beginning.
Yeah.
Which,
I think it's fine.
It's, I guess it's as close as you're going to get.
Yeah.
In a digital,
right.
You know. So, all right. Well, Dan, that was pretty cool, man. So. Adam, why don't we put this game back together, put it back in its hole? Sure. Do you want to do some viewer mail with me?
Yeah, man.
All right, let's clean up, and we're gonna sit at the table. But anyway, that was Dan's Journey cassette interface replacement board. You can get that at ParadiseArcadeShop.com. It's $300.
Cool.
And it works, as we saw. You know, there was some things that weren't clear or obvious to us, but we figured it out.
Yeah.
You know, and you could put your own songs on it. And
1001, as long as they're named 1001.
yeah, I think you need. I think the scheme is 1001, 1002, 1003.
Yeah.
You know, so you could probably put 10 songs on there, or 30 or 100. Just make sure you name them in the right scheme. All right, let's put this back together and we'll do some viewer mail. All right, guys. Actually, before we do viewer mail, Adam and I, just to do another comparison, we put the original back in, and you know what?
I think the fade.
The fade in is pretty similar. But the thing is, it seems to me it seems shorter in the game, but in test, here, watch. 1, 2, 3. So
yeah, that's pretty comparable.
it's pretty comparable.
Yeah.
Dan, okay, you might have nailed the fade.
It fades out very quickly.
But this one fades out really fast. Watch. So the fade out's fast.
Yeah.
It's definitely a fade though. It's not like it's not like a bruisey sound, right? It's like it goes zip.
Right.
But when it comes in, it's more gradual.
Yeah.
So here it goes. On 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, that's the same as that.
It's the same as his. Yeah. There's a spot on my tape that warbles a little bit. Always in the same spot. Yeah, and it could be when I recorded it. I should make it a cassette. But it always does it in the same spot.
Right. Well, it makes sense because it's just a tape that moves.
Yeah. Because when I recorded this song with my computer, I didn't clean my heads before I recorded it, and I should have. And I did just clean the heads in the last half hour for the first time.
You still have that on? I'm sure you have that tucked away somewhere, right?
What's that?
You can re-record it.
Oh yeah, I can re-record it anytime. So the fade out, I think, is faster than Dan's. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Because his fade out was the same as the fade in,
Yeah, I think so.
right?
Yeah.
But his fade in is
pretty
pretty
comparable,
comparable to this in test.
Yeah.
1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, go. But it seems to me though, when I'm playing with the cassette player, the music starts before I get to the stage.
Okay.
So maybe this is a hair faster, like a half a second.
Yeah.
That makes the music come before the band.
Right.
You know. Anyway, all right, whatever. It works and it's cool, and Dan did a good job. ParadiseArcadeShop.com, $300. Get yourself a Yinraj Duro Ditimo. Oh, I had it backwards. All right. All right, let's do viewer mail. Guys, we have Journey back in its hole, and there it is, Adam. How's it look?
It's beautiful.
And by the way, full disclosure, I put the original stuff back in.
Because it's original.
Because I have it.
You?
It's like if I have a real Corvette or a reproduction or I'm gonna drive the real.
keep it in the garage.
I'm driving the real Corvette. I don't want the fake one.
You got that thing working. So.
That's right. I already had the real one. But if I didn't have the real one, and I couldn't find the real one, I would definitely use Dan's board. I would.
Way to go.
I definitely would, because I was at that point when I was doing the restore where it didn't look very hopeful that I was gonna get the audio interface board, the cassette board. So I was looking at, like I said before earlier, Raspberry Pi solutions. So if something like this had existed, I probably would have stopped looking for an original immediately.
Yeah.
You know. So anyway, you can go get his board at ParadiseArcadeShop.com. I will tell you this though, we noticed a couple of things besides the fade in, fade out variances, or what we thought were there.
Yeah.
The overall volume of the game is maybe not as loud.
Slightly less.
Yes, because that cassette board is also the audio amp for the CPU sounds.
Right.
You know, because all MCR games have a little sound amplifier. The cassette interface board is that sound amplifier plus the cassette player logic. Right. They basically took. Because originally when I was testing this game, I was just using a standard MCR audio amplifier from a Tron or a Tapper before I had the cassette, and the game plays fine. You just don't have the cassette. And then they added another circuit to that board. So Dan's board is replacing the audio amp that was on all MCR games, and so anyway, it seems to me the audio amp section is not quite as loud as the original MCR because we could not crank the volume.
Only when you crank it to absolute max, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So for the average person playing the game, they're not going to have a problem.
Right, but if you're in a really loud public arcade, it could become an issue.
I see.
I do think so.
Yeah.
Because I noticed right away, I'm like, we couldn't get it as loud. I don't know. Dan, if you know something I don't know, let me know. All right, anyway, Adam, I thought we'd have Adam join us for viewer mail. Do you want to do this?
Yeah.
Do you like hanging out in the basement?
I do, man.
You know, Adam and I are friends. We hang out a lot, but I've never really had Adam in the basement for a full episode.
No.
We always just visit you here and there.
Games in and out.
He helps you move games. So this is the first time I've had him down here for a full episode. I thought it'd be kind of fun and makes it interesting for me instead of being by myself.
It's fun for me.
So I did it for purely selfish reasons, though, because I was bored. I didn't want to be bored, Adam. Anyway, just wanted to do something different. Okay, so, by the way, guys, if you want to send viewer mail, you need to email them to me at blkdog7@gmail.com. That's blackdog7@gmail.com. In the subject line, you have to put viewer mail, 2 words. Otherwise, we'll not find them, because that's how I search for these.
Okay. Viewer mail?
Viewer mail. Makes it easy, right? Yeah. So, all right, the first one here is from Terry. Hey, John, I really enjoy your channel and your videos. Watching is like hanging out with an arcade buddy that is just down the street. The viewers get to hear about your latest arcade find and see the restorations, learn along with you. We then get to play some games and have a drink with Uncle John. Ha ha. And BS a little in the basement. Tons of fun. Keep it up. In my collection with more... My collection with more MAME type cabs. Anyway...
in my collection.
In my collection with more MAME type cabs. A little Street Fighter 2 Taito cab I saved from the trash and fixed it up, and now I have a few dedicated cabs as well. All in various stages of working, but I half the fun. But that is half the fun. Asteroids, Pole Position 2, and also an Xbox kiosk, the type you find in a GameStop. Anyway, I picked up a Nintendo cab from Craigslist. A cool find for $50. I could tell by the cab it used to be a Donkey Kong. I saw the game at Craigslist while getting gas, no eggs, on the road while in town. Immediately emailed the fellow and said, yes, I want it. I have a van, $1, and I will pay you your asking price and pick it up at your convenience. Here's my number. Which is the move to make.
Yes.
Don't ask questions. If you see a cabinet on Craigslist for $50, you know what it is.
You don't plug it in, you don't turn it on.
And you don't ask questions. Because if you're the annoying guy emailing him and saying, hey, is it all original? Is the cabinet plywood or particle board? Does it work? Did someone paint it? What's wrong with it? While you're asking questions, someone else is saying, I'll take it. And guess what? He's going to respond to the guy that just said, I'll take it. And not the guy with 30 questions. Yeah. Right.
Even if you're the first guy
to
email.
The only time I ask questions is when I don't want something.
Oh, really? You're kind of like...
I'm one of the... Yes.
Like, you're not really shopping for a game, but you see something like Craigslist, you're like,
it's almost like I don't want to go through this right now, right? Yeah. So I'll ask the questions, right? But when I see something that I really want and I know is special and is cheap and is maybe something that they don't know what it is when I say, I will be there tonight at 6 o'clock, I have a truck, a van, and I'll bring cash. Yeah. Please tell me your address. Thank you. Yep. But if I see something, I'm kind of like, do I really want to go home and get my wife's car and go to the ATM and drive 3 hours and...
So you come up with a list of questions.
It's like...
You set yourself up for failure.
Right. Anyway, going on... He says it is a street heat conversion from a Donkey Kong. It is the nice blue plywood cab similar to yours. It looks pretty much complete. My question is, what would John do? I know your Donkey Kong is your favorite game. I don't have a Donkey Kong, and I was thinking about converting it back to a Donkey Kong. Apparently, the operators just added a few chips and daughter board to the Donkey Kong board, so it should be possible to convert it back. But I also get the feeling that there are probably not too many of these street heats around.
For a good reason.
And I kind of feel like I should get it completely working and clean up as a street heat. No, dude.
So it's like a conversion
okay,
for
listen. All right. I should have room once I get my basement cleaned up. The game turns on, and I can coin up and hear the game play. But there's just some. All right, listen. But Terry from Philly, he wants to know basically should he. So he picked up this. Okay, this is a Donkey Kong conversion. Okay. So this is a Donkey Kong cabinet. You still see the original bezel. Okay. Original control panel, but with a new overlay, probably some new holes or a joystick through the joystick hole and a new marquee.
New holes, all right. You see protruding out of the steering wheel.
So all right, here's the deal. Okay, so back in the day, they made a lot of these conversion kits for Donkey Kongs, and one of the most common is 8-ball action.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. And the thing is, the best Donkey Kong I've ever owned, when I bought it, it was an 8-ball action. And I took that 8-ball action and I deconverted it. Now, it was a Donkey Kong PCB that had like a daughter board, some new proms, I believe. Color proms. And a daughter board, and I think EPROMs. And so I converted it back to a Donkey Kong, first by converting the PCB back, which wasn't hard. I burnt a new set of ROMs, removed the daughter board, and then I had Mike's Arcade burn me a set of proms. And I stuck those in there, and bam, it fired up, and it was Donkey Kong again, right? So it was very easy to convert it back, because 8-ball action is not good or desirable. Now listen, I get your point. Maybe there's some historical significance here, but listen, if the Donkey Kong harness is in there and a Donkey Kong PCB, it would be so easy to make this a Donkey Kong again. And you know what? That's way more significant than Street Heat. If anything, take the kit and put it on eBay for someone else that wants this in their museum of a collection.
Or hold on to it if you ever want.
Or hold on to it.
I don't know.
But I suspect the game's garbage.
Yeah.
And you know what, Terry? It was Terry, right? Yeah, Terry. I think this would be a fun project, and it would be very simple to convert this back.
And if you ever wanted to get rid of the game together, you would get so much more for a Donkey Kong than you would for a Street Heat.
Absolutely. So all you need is a marquee. You need a control panel overlay and a joystick and some buttons, and you need to convert the PCB back, and it could be just a ROM swap. It could be a daughter board in the Z80 socket.
Pull that out.
You know? Look at the board, and if the original harness is there, which it very well might be, I don't know what they had to do to get the steering wheel to work. You know, there might be a little bit of hacking with 8-ball action.
If it was a kit that somebody actually produced for Donkey Kong cabs, then maybe, you know, they assumed that the original harness would be used and the changes would be minimal. Best case scenario.
Yes. So Terry, my suggestion to you is convert it back to a Donkey Kong. I don't think it's going to be very hard. And I think you'll be really happy with what you end up with, opposed to Street Heat. Would you agree?
Yes.
All right, the next one here is from Justin down in Pennsylvania. John, I love the show. Since I found your channel, I've been staying up to date watching the new episodes every week, as well as going back and watching some of the old ones. It's so exciting to see someone else out there who shares a passion for these old games. Anyhow, I'm unfortunately very constrained on space in my basement for games, so I've been in the planning process for building a new MAME cabinet with Hyperspin. A lot of people guys doing this, Adam. Everyone's doing MAME and Hyperspin. I think
have a project at home and doing the same thing.
Hyperspin?
Yeah.
It seems to me that when
Hyperspin with Groovy MAME, because then you get the original. It's like your soft 15K that you have upstairs. You can get original resolutions. You can use an actual arcade monitor in your main build. And
and I'm hearing this too. Right? Because now the thing is, everyone's been telling me to use Groovy MAME because you get 1-to-1, but I'm like, I do get 1-to-1.
Yeah. I mean, what you have works, and it's as original as you can get it. Then
I'm leaving it alone. Yeah. But the thing is, my computer's underpowered. You know, I can't play every game anyway. So all the games that I want to play, which are all the early 80s vertical games, all of those are spot on. You know, if I try playing Street Fighter or something, forget it. You know, so yeah, everyone's saying Groovy MAME and Hyperspin is the way to go. That's what everyone's talking about these days, right? But is Groovy MAME like a fork of
MAME?
It's a fork of MAME, right?
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, going on, he's building a MAME cabinet Hyperspin. I actually used to have a MAME cabinet back in the day before my wife and I bought our house and had built it out of an old gutted video poker machine, which is what I was thinking about doing, making a little cabaret MAME cabinet, but horizontal. When we moved several years ago, the cabinet was in such bad shape with MDF that it just didn't seem worth preserving, so it was scrapped. So I'm planning on building a brand new cabinet from scratch. I've recently taken up woodworking as a hobby, although I'm a software engineer by day, and feel confident in my abilities to do this right. My question is, should I stick with using MDF for construction, or would I be better off using a higher grade plywood with a smooth finish? In my recent projects, I have built a record shelf with an ultimate entertainment center out of this really nice bleached pine plywood. I stained white, and it turned out really nice. My concern with using it for MAME is that I might not be able to get as smooth of a surface for the sides to attain with MDF. I would probably use melamine.
You could. I mean, if you wanted a wood finish, I mean, so first of all, I would stay away from MDF.
Right.
In my experience,
Even though a lot of these games are MDF.
Right.
Journey's MDF.
The MDF today that you get, like if you were to go and pick up a sheet of MDF at Home Depot, it's almost like paper, right? You know, shredded paper that's compressed into that dark brown board.
Right.
Which is garbage. It just, you know, it absorbs moisture. It's a pain to work with when you're trying to sand like a perfectly right angle.
Yeah.
You see all the little fibers coming out of it and stuff. It's a mess to work with. Mm-hmm. It sounds like he's already got experience with working with plywood, and I know you can get like cabinet grade plywood, which has a veneer on the side already.
Yep.
Either hardwood veneer or just a high quality.
Yeah,
wood,
you can buy oak or birch plywood. Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a hardwood. It could even just be like a softer wood. But you know, you flip on one side of the plywood, you see the knots and all that kind of junk. You flip the other side, and it's like beautiful. It's like perfect.
Right,
Not necessarily
right,
hardwood, but just a nice high quality wood.
Right, raw oak or raw birch
be.
veneer.
Right.
Yeah. But personally, though, I would go with like particle board with laminate or melamine.
Depends on what you're going to do to the side, right? I mean, it's a main build, so
If it's going to be black or white,
then
I would go get a 4x8 sheet of black melamine.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
or white, wouldn't you?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it depends. Like again, you know, I've cut melamine too to make like bedroom.
And melamine's nothing more than like particle board with like a laminate Formica type thing already adhered to it.
Yes.
The other option is get the raw particle board and then put the laminate on yourself, like we did in the jump bug.
You can even get plywood and put a melamine top to it.
Right, the laminate.
Yeah.
Like a Formica.
Yeah.
So yes, but if you go to Home Depot and just buy MDF, it's medium density fiberboard, right? So it's just like an alternative to particle board.
Yes.
You get it in different thicknesses.
Yeah.
Instead of being like more sawdusty, it's more like mulch.
Yes.
It's more,
Yeah.
right?
The particles or whatever they're in are thicker.
They're thicker in particle board.
Yes.
Yeah, it's more like you can see that it's sawdust.
Yes.
You know. Whereas MDF is just like it's like a mulch of cardboard and who knows what else is in there, right? So yeah. Anyway, however, I also have quality concerns over MDF. Yeah, I would skip to MDF, you know. But like I say, a lot of the old arcade games were MDF with a laminate on top of it.
Yeah.
Midway did that a lot, you know. Like Galaga and Tron.
So what would you do, right? So if
I
you
would
were
do melamine.
You really?
I would, yeah.
I think I would do the plywood.
You would?
The hardwood. Yeah, I would, because I don't want to have to do it twice. And in my experience in cutting, if it's, you know, you're cutting melamine or cutting particle board or MDF.
What do you mean you don't want to do it twice?
You get chip out. Like when I'm cutting, you know, a perfectly straight line, and then I go and look at the line, you can see pieces that are chipped out because when you're working with particle board, the particles are big.
Yeah.
And if as the blade is coming through, sometimes the kerf will catch one. And
I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
And so if you're looking at a perfectly smooth edge that you want to put your T-molding on, and you see all these little nicks and stuff, it'll drive you nuts. So for me, I would want to cut it once, be done with it, and you know what I mean, put it in the corner and not have to touch it ever again.
Right.
Looking at it every time,
But the
like,
thing is, when all these reproduction cabinets though are all made out of melamine.
Yeah.
And I've got the melamine stuff in the garage.
But are they CNC made? You know, like
yes.
Yeah. So
but there's no chip outs on any of that stuff.
Yeah.
There's zero.
But there probably would be for me if I was at home.
Just buy a good blade and don't listen to him. He's using an old rusty, right? You got old stuff, right? Something you inherited, right?
How about your skill saw we used on that?
Right, I have a blade like that. I've got a skill saw.
Was it that game? I don't remember.
I don't know. I have a skill saw that was probably in my parents' garage when I was a kid.
Which he probably inherited.
And it has the same blade, yes, on it that my dad used in 1979 to whatever, fix the porch. Right. And he says another option would be, see, I would only use plywood if I was going to do the laminate.
Why?
I don't. How would you handle the plywood?
What do you mean?
You're going to stain it?
No, but I guess what I'm looking for in the plywood, or what I like about
I understand it. It's more structurally sound and forgiving.
That's what I'm looking for.
But it's ugly. I don't want.
But you're gonna cover. No, but
I would cover it with laminate though.
But if you buy plywood that has a hardwood edge, or even just a finished edge to it, you know what I'm saying? So when they build the plywood out of many plies of wood, right?
I know. I've worked at lumber yards way too much.
But you're asking me the question why I would choose that if I was.
But then you have this plywood finish.
You don't have the plywood
with
finish.
wood grain.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that's what you want. You want this thing, like a coffee table arcade game?
It depends. Does he say? Does he say what he wants to do with it? How he wants to finish it?
But
let's read on.
I would not want a wood grain cabinet. I'm sorry, I just wouldn't. If I'm building a scratch build MAME,
right.
Unless I was building like some, like pseudo Atari Cabaret MAME,
Yeah.
and if that's what I was going for, but 95% arcade games don't have
Black.
wood grain,
Yeah.
so I would not use plywood
But I mean,
unless I was going to laminate it.
I don't really care about the finish because I agree. I would probably,
Painting plywood does not look good ever.
I would probably put a laminate on it.
Yes.
But what I like about the laminate is just it's more forgiving when I cut it.
Okay. All right. However, I also have quality concerns with MDF that I don't want to end up deteriorating over time, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so he doesn't know what he wants. I look forward to hearing from you and wish you the best with your channel in the new year. P.S. I've attached some pictures of the Ultimate Entertainment Center I just finished, complete with built-in lighting, a hidden cable management door, and a wide selection of retro consoles. So, Adam, I'll give you one to look at here, and then I'll show the audience. Now, this looks sharp here, and I don't see any wood grain. So, yes, this is very good. That's pretty badass, isn't it?
There's 2 NES top loaders.
Look at that.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Does he have a Famicom? Super
They
Famicom?
both look the same to me.
One looks like a Super Famicom.
So what does he got? You got top loader NESs, a top loading SNES.
I think he has a top-loading Famicom. Look at the cartridge in it.
Okay, yeah.
And then a top-loading Super Famicom,
Yeah.
Nintendo 64, a Wii U,
Genesis?
PlayStation 3, I believe, on the right, 2600.
That's a Genesis up there.
What's next to the 2600?
That's a PlayStation 1.
Ah, good eye.
Smaller version.
Oh, that's a PlayStation
That's a
3,
PlayStation 3.
next to the Dreamcast.
Next to Dreamcast.
What's in the top right?
The top right is a Sega Genesis.
Oh, with the CD.
Yeah.
Next to it.
Yep.
I see. And then, oh boy, what's this?
Middle right, I don't know what that is.
The middle right, I don't know. It's some kind of, I don't know why, but I'm sensing Philips. I don't know why. Do you feel the Philips?
Yeah.
No?
I can't make out the logo.
That's a cool collection.
That is cool.
You know, listen, I gotta tell you, I've been thinking about putting one of my consoles down here. Because I got the TV right here, and you know, I actually, Adam, I was at the dollar store, and they have a Genesis plug-and-play thing with the wireless Genesis controllers.
But you were never a Genesis guy.
No, I never had one.
Okay.
That's the appeal.
Oh, I see.
Because I've never had one,
Right.
right? And it has like 80 games in it or something, like all the Sonics and Mortal Kombat. And it's a little thing
How
that,
much?
like 35 bucks
Yeah, that might be the way to go.
with wireless controllers.
Because then you don't have to invest in like getting an original.
Right, and I was thinking about screwing it to the wall.
Yeah.
Because I want the thing is, I don't want a big disaster console thing down here. I don't want wires and cartridges everywhere. Because I have my Atari 2600, my NES, my Super Nintendo, my 64, my GameCube, my Wii U. I have all my consoles I've ever owned, except for the original Xbox.
Okay.
So I was thinking about putting the Super Nintendo or the 64 up because I would love to play GoldenEye. But where would I put it? There'd be wires. So I was thinking, how about a cheap thing? I'll just screw it to the wall,
Yeah.
right?
Wireless controllers.
With wireless controllers. Wouldn't that be pretty great?
But is it just Genesis?
It's only Genesis, and it also accepts cartridges.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So maybe I'll do a review of that. I'll tell you though, Esquelita on the John's Arcade forum though, because I was telling those guys in my forum in the shout box my plan, and they all said it sucks. Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. The emulation isn't too hot. But the thing is, you know, John likes to figure out it himself.
And if you're not a Sega guy and you
Right.
invest a lot into it,
Right.
you want to try
It's
it out,
gotta be playable.
I think it's the way to go.
I think the controllers are line of sight, though. They're
Okay.
infrared.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I don't know. If you guys have any experience with those, the Sega Genesis plug-and-play thing, and it has a cartridge slot, too.
Right.
You can plug Genesis cartridges. But it's emulating the hardware somehow.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
As long as it's close enough.
I think that'd be fun for parties, though, to put, like, Sonic on there,
Yeah.
or even Mortal Kombat
Sure.
Genesis.
Yeah.
And just have wireless controllers right here? I don't know. By the way, I really like this guy's made this classic
Yeah.
console setup. It's pretty nice. All right, the next one here is from Justin. No, we just read that one. Next one's from Wade. All right, so this one's from Wade. Dear John, I'm a longtime viewer, first-time writer. Thanks for the show. In your last video, you asked for suggestions for future road trips. I have one. The Pinball Hall of Fame in Las Vegas.
Oh, boy.
I've been there. I already did.
Have you really?
I already did a video there.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I already did a video there. It's like an hour and a half long too. I went through every inch of that place.
I don't know if I saw that one.
Yeah, I did a video there.
Was this because you were already there for work?
Yeah, I was already there, and so I did that video probably a year and a half ago, maybe.
Okay.
And that place is awesome.
Yeah.
Pinball Hall of Fame. I mean, a lot of stuff wasn't working, which is kind of a bummer. But I mean, it's the most pinballs I've ever seen in one location. If you've never been exposed to all of the different EM pinball machines,
Right.
you'll never see more in one place than there.
Really?
Because the guy that owns it, Tim Arnold, is a Gottlieb fanatic.
Okay.
And supposedly it is the most complete collection of Gottlieb pinballs ever. So he's got like one of every single game on. So if you're an EM guy, you really want to go to Pinball Hall of Fame. And there's of course the thing about all the EMs though, it's all like you start realizing that like Gottlieb released like 70 games with card themes, you know,
I have one at home.
and like
Hearts of Spades.
50 games with baseball themes, you know, and 20 games with cowboy themes.
Right.
And I have one of those, you know. It's funny. They weren't very creative.
Do the play fields look very similar, or they do? Okay. So once you get that feeling that once you've played one, you've played them
I think
all,
so.
yeah.
The way I mean, the thing is, I think we're too young for that stuff.
Yeah.
We didn't grow up with that.
Right.
You know.
Right.
But anyway, yeah. I've done a video there. Pinball Hall of Fame at Las Vegas is definitely worth visiting, especially if you guys want to play some rare stuff. Like they have Pinball Circus there.
Okay.
Which is Python Angelou's swan song of a game that was never released.
Oh, okay.
It's basically a pinball machine inside of a giant Bally Midway style cabinet, almost like a Mortal Kombat on steroids.
Really?
But you can feel like Mortal Kombat when you look at it, but it's not like it. But anyway, it's just basically an upright pinball machine.
What year?
80s,
No kidding.
late 80s, early
Right.
90s. Actually, probably 90s.
Huh.
Yeah, 90s. It has a DMD. Yeah, it's 90s. Yeah, it's Pinball Circus.
No kidding.
It's cool. It's basically it's almost like a Rube Goldberg type machine.
Okay.
Where you're playing pinball on the bottom, and then like you got to get the ball all the way to the top, and there's like multi levels, right, and multi play fields.
Yeah.
And like one part, the elephant grabs the ball, and his trunk goes up like this, and puts the ball in the third level, and the ball rolls down, and it's cool stuff. Yeah. So that's in my.
Rare
Oh
thing?
yeah, there's only like 2 or 3.
Oh, okay.
And actually, when I was in Atlanta at the Southern Fried Game Room Expo, Ben Hack Ben Hack was involved in it because they used his hardware platform. But the guy that is doing a lot of the plastic ramps, I actually shared a car with him with Greg Ferris, and I don't remember his name, but they're reproducing Pinball Circus.
Okay.
They got permission to do it.
No kidding.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it kind of works. It's like a whitewood right now, and I don't know. It's going to happen sometime.
Prototype.
Anyway, he goes, I know you're more of an arcade video game guy, but this place has an amazing collection. Yeah, like we were saying, I've been there. Very, very early to latest Stern pinballs. I think it'd make for an interesting road trip. Yeah, I've done that. You know, I'll put a link to my Pinball Hall of Fame in the show notes. It's registered as a non-profit. Money goes to Salvation Army. Yeah, Tim Arnold's really big on the Salvation Army and music. And by the way, I too am an arcade junkie. Not long ago, I finished my first and only main cabinet, which I dubbed Super Arcade. Here you go. Thanks again for the show, Wade. Looks like he's got a website called Cheapskate Gamer. What do you think? That's pretty.
X-Arcade.
He's got the X-Arcade. You know, a lot of guys do this. Instead of building their own control panel, they'll build a cabinet around the control panel. Because I think what happens, though, is that people invest in these X-Arcade sticks, which are standalone control panels that you could put on your coffee table, right? And then play on your TV.
So they may invest in that first.
And then they're like, oh, I wish I could stand up. And then they start finding ways to attach this to stuff. Right? And sometimes it gets attached to a classic game. Don't do that, kids. All right? Johnny will be mad at you.
What does this cabinet look like to you? Some kind of Atari cabinet, no? Or
It could be.
Star Wars?
No. Well, I'm looking at the speakers here.
Yeah. Unless he he may have just thrown that in there.
It could be scratch built. I don't know.
No, that's
that's a centipede, dude.
Yeah, I think so.
It's a centipede. Yeah, you attached this to a centipede, didn't you? That's a centipede. Once you covered the control panel, it's clearly a centipede, right? Isn't it?
So that's why I asked. Yeah.
Don't do that. Listen, if you're gonna do this,
You all worked up.
just stop buying the X-Arcade stuff. It is the gateway to bad stuff, right? It's a gateway drug. It takes you down. You're right. You're off on the wrong path right away. But you know what? This doesn't look bad. It's pretty tasteful.
Who knows? I mean, the centipede could have been completely gutted on the front lawn of some guy's house saying free, or who knows? So maybe he saved the cat.
I'm looking around. Is it a centipede?
It looks like centipede to me.
Yeah, it does. Once you cover the control pad.
Some kind of Atari. Atari cabinet.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Anyway, all right, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Adam, thank you, guys. Be sure to watch Adam's channel. It's One Circuit, YouTube.com/OneCircuit. Of course, he has a website, OneCircuit.com, where he sells his little one-up device, which is a free play. Alternative mod that basically will add free play to any game with a little tiny microcontroller. It works very well, and we actually use that in the Will Wright project, and I understand it's still working.
Awesome.
And what else? Of course, send me emails to blkdog7@gmail.com anytime during the week. blkdog7@gmail.com. In the subject line, you got to put viewer mail. Listen to my 2 podcasts, Video Game Outsiders at videogameoutsiders.com and Arcade Outsiders at arcadeoutsiders.com. And I think that's it. Adam, thanks for hanging out.
Thanks for having me.
That was fun. It's been a long... You've been here for a while.
Long time.
Is this like a 3-hour video?
Probably. We'll see.
I'm like, oh, Adam, just come over. This will take us a half hour.
Whatever.
I feel like doing a short video this week. This will be like a half hour, right? That's what I thought.
That was fun.
We just plug it in and turn it on, and that's it. So, and of course, if you want to get Dan Reed's device, go to Paradise Arcade, ParadiseArcadeShop.com. Yeah. And then also, I gotta tell you guys, I'm giving away John's Arcade prize packages, which will be cap kits I did with Ian Kellogg at IanKellogg.com. So you're gonna get a T-shirt, a signed autograph, Killscreen CD, and then some form of a cap kit. And I'm giving away 3 of those prize packages. We'll do first, second, and third. First will get the most stuff. Third will get the least. But I think all 3 will get at least a T-shirt and a CD. So go to johnsarcade.com to enter that contest. And I'm gonna let that contest go for a few weeks. On there it says when it ends. I think it's like I think I ended it like February 15th or something. And then also go to IanKellogg.com to order your John's Arcade branded cap kits. You can get 10% off your order this month using coupon code John's Arcade. Coupon code John's Arcade at IanKellogg.com. 10% off your entire order, including the John's Arcade branded kits. And all of those kits use the highest quality. He uses parts that are rated for like 10,000 hours.
Really?
Yeah. That's like,
there you go.
It's like the rest of your life. Isn't it?
As long as you own the game. Which is
10,000. I mean, think about 10,000 hours. How long is that?
It's a long time. You asked me to do the math right now?
Well, if you do 2 hours a week, or let's say 4, it's 200 hours a year.
Thousands of years.
Yeah. So they'll last forever. I think Ian's going to warranty those. Anyway, all right, guys, that's it for this video. We'll see you very soon. I think next time we come down here, I want to do the Donkey Kong high score internet save thing. So,
cool.
And then we'll do computer space after that. So, anyway, guys, that's it for this video. I'll talk to you very soon. Later, and bye.